Okay, so the third section of our text is dedicated to studying methods, studying and learning chemistry. So the learning goal here for this is to identify strategies that are effective for learning and to develop a plan for studying chemistry. Okay, so one thing that I feel very strongly about is that studying in a group can be beneficial to learning. I would say more than that. I would say studying in a group is beneficial to learning. Really difficult to learn to study in a group when we're separated geographically, but do bear in mind that studying in a group is a big deal. Okay, so strategies to improve learning and understanding. Success in chemistry, really success in any academic endeavor, is connecting new information with stuff that you already know. Okay, rechecking what you've learned and retrieving what you've learned for an exam. These are all important aspects of learning in chemistry and really any academic endeavor. So, tips for using new study habits for successful learning. Do not, this is a mistake I made as a student. I just kept rereading notes. Do not keep rereading. Ask yourself questions as you read to engage it if possible. Self-test by giving yourself quizzes. Study at a regular pace. This is a big mistake I made. I tried learning lots in one day, and I know your schedules may give some sort of natural constraints on what you can do, but as much as you can spread stuff out, the better. And then finally, study different topics in a chapter and relate the new concepts to concepts that you already know. It's going to require a lot of work to do that, right? Because when you're learning new stuff, especially stuff that's uncomfortable, oftentimes you're really just trying to, I can speak for myself. I was just trying to survive, right? So study different topics in a chapter and relate the new concepts to concepts that you already know. See how they fit. All right, so our textbook is built like this. There's a periodic table inside the front cover. Inside the front cover, there's a periodic table. There are tables inside the back cover, other tables. Looking ahead, there's a section about looking ahead at the beginning of every chapter. There's a learning goal, which these PowerPoints also have learning goals in them, right? So think about that. When we talk about the learning goal, think about what that really means. One thing to do would be to read the learning goal the day before you read the chapter, right? Or the section. What's the learning goal? And then think about it a little bit before you read, like separated by several hours, including maybe like the night before. Okay, there's a review at the beginning of each section. There are key math skills, which are reviewed in the margins. There are core chemistry skills, which are also highlighted in the margins. Key terms, which are bolded throughout the text. I myself would write those in my notes. Write those in your notes, the key terms. And then finally, there's a glossary and index at the end of your text. Okay, so before you begin each chapter, I recommend that you read the looking ahead. Look at the section title. This is classic. This is going to require some work, right? But if you have the energy for it, very good. Look at the section title and then rewrite it as a question, okay? And then look at the learning goal and think about what the learning goal means, all right? That's a good way to actively engage. All right, so as you read, try to answer the question. Try to answer the, where am I here? Just a second here. No. Try to answer the question. Pause at the engaged questions and read those and think about them. Work through the sample problems. This is a big one. I'm going to do this in a different color because this is one I've got, I make a big deal out of that. Work through the sample problems and then try at first to remind you to work the problem before you look at the solution. Very uncomfortable, very counterintuitive, but I'm going to encourage you to do it. And then analyze the problem feature. Review that, which shows you how to organize the data. Okay, and then finally try the practice problems at the end. I'm going to give another list here in a minute that sort of simplifies this, okay? So throughout the chapter, you're going to see things that are sort of additional things that are helpful. Chemistry links to health, links to environment, clinical application problems, okay? I'm not going to make a huge deal out of those. I think they're helpful, but easy to get overwhelmed, so I'm not going to say a whole lot about those. Figures and diagrams. One thing I would say is that you need to understand every figure. That's a really good way to get active, is to look at every figure and ask yourself what it means. I didn't learn this till I was in graduate school. When I got to graduate school, I was giving presentations, and I found out that if I just was able to go through each graphic, understand the graphic, I basically understood the paper. Okay, same thing goes for a textbook. All right, at the end of the chapter, you know what? I'm not going to go over these. Several, I think, valuable things at the end of the chapter. Let me race ahead and say, so here's a study plan that your textbook gives, okay? Read the chapter, go to class, review, problem notebook, and such. I'm going to give a simplified version of that. Also, the author our text recommends studying in groups, as I said, so do I. But let me give you what I think is going to be helpful here. So first of all, watch the lecture. Those are on YouTube. The links are on D2L. Watch the lecture. You're watching one right now, right? So watch the lecture and take notes. Watch the lecture and take notes. These are due before class. They're due before our class meetings, okay? So you can't, when you come to what we would call lecture, that's our class meetings, we're not even going to be doing lecture, right? This is the lecture that I'm giving right now. It's going to be on YouTube, okay? Next, read the text, okay? After you watch the lecture, which I'm basically reading the text to you right now, right? But read it again after you watch the lecture. I recommend doing them on different days. Watch the lecture on Monday, read the text on Tuesday, right? Then and this is a big deal. I'm going to choose a different color for this. Do the sample problems. I highlight this in yellow on a previous slide. I'm going to highlight it in yellow again. Do the sample problems. That's probably the most important thing that you can do. Do the sample problems. It's the most important thing for your learning, maybe. If it's not that, it's this. Do the homework problems. Okay? Those are in Mastering Chemistry. Do the sample problems and do the homework problems. These are the most important things you can do for your learning. Okay? And then finally, come to class. Now, come to class and ask questions. Ask questions, right? It is, I think, possible for you to achieve mastery without any help from me. However, most people, including myself probably, will come across problems that you need help on, right? So you either study in a group, get help from your classmates, or you come to class and you ask me. Come to class is going to be entirely a study session, right? So you do most of your learning before you come to class. There's where most of your learning happens here. And it's required. Your grade is going to be based upon watching the lecture and doing the homework problems, but whether you were doing it for points or not, you need to be doing it for learning. That's where most of your learning occurs. All right, hope that's helpful.